If I asked you to name the greatest love story ever told, chances are there'd be a whole bunch of different answers around the room. Some of you would throw out a movie like The Notebook or Titanic or Casablanca. Some of you might name a book like Wuthering Heights or Pride and Prejudice, and all of you would be wrong because definitively the answer is The Princess Bride. But there's a good chance that no one would answer Hosea. Like, if that question was a category on the Family Feud, Hosea would not make the 100 most popular answers. Like, boy meets hooker, gets married, has some kids, doesn't know if they're his, and she abandons the family, is not our idea of a classic love story. But this week we're kicking off a new series on the book of Hosea, and we're going to dig into it over the course of the next month. And what I hope that we'll see by the end of this month, by the end of this series, is that the book of Hosea is one of the greatest love stories. It's one of the greatest love letters ever written, and it's written to you and me. That God has something to say to us in the story of Hosea. And it's a crazy story. I mean, it starts off with Hosea, and he's this prophet, and he's living in these dark days where the nation of Israel has kind of rejected God wholesale, and God says, hey, Hosea, I want you to get married. And that's kind of exciting news. You're like, all right. And then God says, to a whore. And I don't use that word to be unnecessarily crass. I think sometimes we clean up the language of the Bible, and that's the Hebrew word that God uses. Like, that's the language that God uses to describe the situation and describe what he's calling Hosea into. He says, marry a whore wife and have whore kids because you're living in a nation that has whored itself out. It's just abandon me wholesale. Okay? Imagine being Hosea in this moment. Like, God comes to you and he says, hey, I want you to get married. And you're like, okay. And he says, marry a hooker. Like, I want you to marry a prostitute. I want you to marry just this awful, terrible woman who's going to cheat on you, and you're going to have kids, and you're not even going to know whether they're your kids. Just pause for a second and put yourself in his shoes. Like, what must that have been like to get that message and that vision from God? Like, all of us grow up with like visions of what our future is going to look like, what marriage is going to look like, of the love story that we hope we'll get to live out in our lives, visions of love and friendship and companionship and family, and almost none of those visions, I'm guessing, at least not for me, and I'm guessing for you too, almost none of those visions include being cheated on and abandoned, being scorned and shunned and rejected by your community because of just the failure of your marriage and the character of the person you decided to marry. I mean, imagine for a moment being Hosea. And then imagine him on his wedding day. Okay? Here it is. It's your wedding day, and you see her for the first time. Like, he turns around and he looks, and there she is in the dress, and she's beautiful. She's beautiful. And forget what anybody else says. Forget her reputation. Forget what anybody else thinks about what you're going to do. Like, you're here in this moment, and right here, right now, you're making a commitment to one another. You're going to be hers, and she's going to be yours, and you love her. Look at her. She's beautiful. And you're hoping that God is just living out some sort of allegory, that this vision he casts is kind of like when he asked Abraham to take Isaac up and kill his own son, and God's going to be like, no. She's not actually going to cheat on you. You actually do get to live out this love story that you've dreamed about. Look at her. She's yours. She's beautiful. And you're hoping that. And then she gets pregnant, and she has a kid, and you're like, oh. And you look, and you hold your son in your arms, and God says, name him Jezreel. It means God will scatter. And then you're like, whew. That is not a great name for a kid. This guy's going to get made fun of at school, but all right. You name him Jezreel. And then she gets pregnant again, and the rumors are out there. The rumors are out there that maybe this one isn't your kid. But whatever, you love her. You love her, and you're fighting against the rumors. You're fighting for her despite the rumors. She gives birth to this beautiful little baby girl, and you're holding this girl in your arms, this baby. And God says, name her Lo Ruchama. Not loved. And all the love inside of you is welling up for this baby, and you got to name the baby Not Loved as an example to Israel of how God's heart feels about their adulterous souls. And then she gets pregnant a third time, and this time it's almost certainly not yours. She's sleeping around, and she's not even hiding it, and she gives birth to this baby boy, and God says, name him Lo Ami. Not my people. look at that kid and name him nobody, because this nation that has rejected me is nobody to me. And then she leaves. She just abandons you and the kids, and she starts working the street corners again, despite the fact that everything you are and everything you have has been invested in loving her and creating this space where she knows how valuable she is to you. She walks out the door and starts hooking again. You might hear that and think like, you said this is a love story. Like, Mike, you said you wanted us to hear this and understand this and see this as like one of the greatest love stories and love letters ever written. How is that a love story? That's a terrible story. That's a tragic story. That's not the love story that I want for my life. How is this a love story? I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you how. It's a love story for us, for you and for me, because we are not Hosea in the story. You are not Hosea in the story. As much as we want to be the hero of the story. That's not the message that God has. Not for the nation of Israel then, and not for you and me right now. No. You are Gomer in this story. You're the wife who was loved, who was given everything, and who walked away, who rejected everything that you ever wanted and chased after brokenness, and chased after garbage and gave it all away. That's you in this story. That's me in this story. And the beauty of the story, the love of the story is that God didn't just leave us there. Like in our lives, if somebody did that to us, if somebody did that to me, I can't imagine what it would be like. But I know that I would really struggle to care one bit about what happened to them for the rest of their life. Like I'd be out, right? The anger and the rage and the pain, you'd be out. But God, in his love, in his crazy, unbelievable, unimaginable love for us, didn't just leave us there. He loved us. And then he watched us reject everything that we were created for and walk away and chase garbage and chase filth and chase nothingness. And he said, I will not leave you there. My love compels me to come after you. My hesed compels me to come after you. It's this word that Andrew talked about on Sunday, hesed. This choice love. Not a feeling, not a warm fuzzy, not something that comes and goes, but this choice that God makes. This stayed mindset of God towards us. And it's this word, hesed, that we don't have an English cognate for. Sometimes we translate it mercy, and sometimes faithfulness, and sometimes loving kindness. And it kind of means all that. It means this enduring, unending, unbreakable love and passion and mercy. Hesed. And there are some who would argue that hesed, this enduring, passionate love and mercy and kindness of God towards humanity, despite all of our faults and failings, is the leitmotif of the Old Testament. It's the theme that comes up again and again and again and again, and it's beautiful. I mean, it's part of the most famous verse from Hosea. Like all you churchy people who've been around church your whole lives, you've heard it. You might not even know it's Hosea, but it's Hosea 6:6. I desire mercy and not sacrifice. Right? And the word there is I desire hesed and not sacrifice. And what God is telling the people is this thing that sometimes we take out of context or we miss when we translate that verse. But he's saying, what I want is relationship, not religiosity. What I want out of you is not just checking boxes and religiosity. I want relationship. I want love. I want to be like husband and wife with you. I want intimate, passionate love relationship with you. And that's so cool. But then we read Hosea and you're like, well, if that's true, like if hesed is the theme, if God's love is the thing that's compelling him here, and it's this enduring, never-ending, unbreakable kindness, then why is there so much anger in this book? Why is there so many words of judgment? Like it's a scary book to read. There's talk constantly of destruction and desolation, and you read it and you're like, why then if God loves us like this, if God loved Israel like this, why the judgment? Why the anger? Why the rage? Why all this talk of desolation and consequence? And the answer is simple, because God's hesed is real. If it was fake, if it was passive, if it didn't matter to him, then he could just abandon us in our brokenness. He could just watch us settle for something less than what we were created for and say, you know what, forget it. care. But God, like Hosea, his heart is shattered and it's broken, and he's looking at a people that he created for a relationship with himself that are settling for so much less. And he's telling them, this is the consequence. This is what it looks like to live that out. And I will not leave you there. I'm going to do anything to chase you down, because my hesed is not passive, it's active. I'm chasing you down in your filth. I'm chasing you down in your sin. I'm chasing you down in your rejection. I will not abandon you there. Do you deserve it? Yeah. This is what it looks like. When you reject me, when you turn your back on me, this is what the consequences are. The consequence is destruction, and it's pain, and it's hurt, but I'm not going to abandon you to that. Because of my hesed, my enduring faithfulness and kindness and mercy to you. That mindset of God toward us, that willingness to chase us down in the midst of our sin, in the midst of our rejection of him, that willingness to let us know what the consequences are and not just abandon us to them. That's what makes this love story so incredible. So incredible for us. That because of his hesed, because of his love, because of his enduring, never-ending, unbreakable faithfulness and loving kindness to us, God is chasing us down in our sin. Not abandoning us to it, not just sitting there waiting, hoping that maybe one day we'll realize all that we left behind when we left all that we were created for. No. He's chasing us in it. In the midst of our filth, in the midst of our brokenness, in the midst of our undeserving sin, our adulterous hearts towards him. In the midst of all that, he is chasing you and me. And that changes everything about who we are.